Hi. Have you noticed that your older dog suddenly can't seem to be able to cope with being alone, and yet that was never a problem in his younger days? Well, in this video, I'm going to explain the changes, physical and mental and emotional changes that happen in your dog as they age, and how these changes may lead to anxiety and some of them to separation anxiety. I'm Alex, and I've been working with anxious dogs for over 21 years, and I've seen many different situations, rescue dogs that suddenly developed anxiety and older dogs that suddenly developed an anxiety. So let's dive into why this happens. Just like with us humans, age in dogs also brings about changes and some decline. For example, sensory decline happens when your dog's eyesight and hearing start fading. And so they might lose their sense of hearing only in one side. And that means they can still hear, but they can't locate where the sound is coming from. Or the loss of hearing can be on both sides and it can be total. And of course, that can be quite a scary situation. As far as vision is concerned, usually night vision is the first to fade, and this can cause a bit of confusion, especially because our house tends to be dark at night. Now, your dog has been with you for years and they know how to navigate the house, they know the layout of the furniture and everything, but still, waking up in the middle of the night and not being able to see as well as they used to see can cause a certain fear, actually. And so, when sensory loss happens, it's natural that your dog will bond even more strongly with you because they start to depend on you even more, especially for guidance, for support, for reassurance, but also for guidance. Another thing that leads to anxiety is pain. Very often, age brings about pain in the joints, and so your dog may have a more difficult time standing up or lying down or just basically moving around. And this pain can result in stress. And some dogs can't handle stress either when old age comes. So even the smallest stressor can be perceived by your dog as a major stressor. And so this can also cause anxiety. Now, when it comes to separation anxiety specifically, sensory decline is more likely to lead to separation anxiety than other physical problems such as pain. Another issue or another change that is likely to lead directly to separation anxiety is when your dog gets older, their social perception of the world changes quite a bit in the sense that they tend to attach more strongly to the people that they know, and at the same time, they can't cope as well with being alone. So, a dog that coped with being alone all their life suddenly might not be able to cope anymore because they have attached more to you than they used to. Not that they like you more now than they did before, but they have attached more strongly now. And also because they have lost their ability to cope with being alone. So you put the two of them together, like stronger attachment to you, not able to cope with being alone, and then separation anxiety can appear as a result thereof, especially like when you leave the house. if he's more attached to you than before, and if he can't cope with being alone, then obviously that is going to be a very strong stressor for him or her. Another change that often leads to separation anxiety is your dog losing the ability to cope with stress. So, in other words, all their lives, they may have been able to cope with stress, and sometimes stress accumulated, sometimes it didn't, and they used to overcome it quite easily. Now, in old age, a stressor becomes stronger than it was before, and also the capacity to recover from a stressful situation is also diminished. So, in other words, your older dog becomes stressed more easily, and then they also take a longer time to recover from that stressful situation. So, this means that stress can actually accumulate more in older dogs than it used to accumulate when they were younger. So, being apart from you may be perceived now as a very, very strong stressor, whereas before it wasn't a stressful situation at all. So I hope this video has helped you understand why your old dog was always fine and now suddenly he can't cope with being alone anymore. It's mainly because of three things. He or she becomes more reliant on you for guidance when hearing and loss happens and eyesight starts to fade. They become more attached to you while losing the capacity to spend more time alone. So that leads to separation anxiety. And finally, because they perceive stressors with much more intensity than before, being separated from you is a stressor that he can't handle anymore, at least not as they used to handle when they were younger. So those are the reasons why your old dog is suddenly not able to cope with being alone. I hope this video has helped. If it has, just go down and hit the subscribe button, because in this channel we actually share a lot of information regarding anxiety and separation anxiety. We also focus on separation anxiety in older dogs. So subscribe and enjoy. Take care.